Hello Learning Birds, this is Mr. Buffington and today we are looking at a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and we're going to talk about hiding and unhiding columns and rows. You'll sometimes do this if you've got equations like this, and some pieces of information you don't need to be seeing all the time. You need it maybe for some of the equations and calculations, but you don't really want to be looking at it all the time. An example of that is this row saying how much money the person borrowed. $1,000. We know they borrowed $1,000. It's the balance listed up here. We don't need to see this all the time, but it's necessary for making these equations work on this side. So what we want to do, we don't want to delete those amounts because that'll change all of these numbers in here, but we do want to hide those values. So to do that, you highlight the row by clicking at the top, or the column by clicking at the top of the column. And then if you use your right mouse button, you'll see the word hide. And that's it. That information is now hidden. Notice it goes from column A to column C. Column C is also interest, 8%. It's consistent the whole time. Let's hide that one too. Now it goes from column A to column D. And the numbers remained exactly the same. We just have the information now that we need. All right? So that makes our lives just a little bit easier for looking at this and seeing what's really important. So that's how we would hide a column. You could do the same thing with a row. You can hide a row. In this case, we don't want to hide the row, but you could, and it won't change the other values. It'll just hide row 4 from us so we can't see it anymore. Now, you don't usually want to hide a monthly payment of some kind of thing, so let's go ahead and unhide that. To do that, you can highlight somewhere around those values, like I'm highlighting 3 and 5, and I'm going to say unhide. So all the data in between there gets shown again. I can highlight A to D and say unhide, and it'll show the values that used to be there. Again, this isn't deleting values, it's just hiding them so that you don't have to look at them. It makes things look a little bit less complicated when you're doing them. The calculations are still there, the numbers are needed, but now you don't have to look at those values all the time. It's a helpful tool for hiding the stuff that needs to be in the background, but you don't necessarily want to see it all the time. And one challenge that I noticed with this is if you hide like column A. Let's say I hide column A. Now I can't go between D and E to unhide. It doesn't show up. You have to select from here over and then select unhide and it'll appear. Or you can select, like click on A and drag it over to there and highlight everything and then say unhide, and it'll unhide. So that's the basics of hiding and unhiding information. Again, it's a way to get rid of the information you don't need to see while you're actually looking at the spreadsheet. It doesn't delete the information, it's still there, but you have a way of not having to look at it all the time. Hope that lesson on hiding and unhiding columns and rows was helpful for you. Have a wonderful day.